Hello, everybody out there in, well, whatever streaming service that you're using to see us today. Hi, we are Unearthed Evidence. I am Jen.
And I'm Gina.
And as we usually start out with, this is for entertainment purposes only. We are in no way associated with any law enforcement agency. And this is strictly purely opinion based. And today we're going to be talking about Charles Morgan. So today, Gina is going to give us some insight on what she got first. So you go right ahead and let us know what kinds of things that you came across in this Charles Morgan case.
Yeah. So, in researching, I just let everybody know I just pulled the picture. I don't read anything about the case. I
That's
like to
my
work
job.
on it. Yeah, that's your job. And then I want to pick up some psychic information. So, what I picked up with this particular person is I did feel a sense of anxiety, a sense of loss, but this felt like some sort of collaboration and or relationship. So when I was looking at this man, I'm like, this guy was finessed. He got into something, but so he could have got into some sort of romantic entanglement that led to another partnership, is kind of what I got. Like somebody sent somebody to him, to get to work with him or to go out with him, and then that led to something else. So what I got here was, I said lover possibly. He didn't see who he was dealing with clearly. Sad, felt stuck due to bad collaborations, trying to get out. Um, he was losing. He was trying to hold on to his money. There was some sort of financial aspect, and he was trying to hold on to it, and he was losing. I mean, he was losing. There could have even been legal issues as well, or something to do with the law. But I also felt like, I felt like I wrote down seduced. He was seduced by that. But I also wrote that didn't want to fight. He was starting to get tired, trying to hold on to his money. Charles didn't want to leave a situation, wanted to leave a situation, but it was too difficult. I also felt the need, and I don't know what this is like almost like you get these people really going through stuff and they're like, well, I'm going to wait till it gets dark and then I'm going to hit the road, Jack. That was kind of my, like, I want to get out of here, but I almost felt like I couldn't.
Yeah.
I felt like I was being watched. And then the last thing I pick up was when I say I'm picking up him. I'm coming home. It's late at night. I'm in my bed. This man has his boxers. I see wife beater and boxers on.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a phone call. The light goes on in the bedroom. There's a phone call, and I'm turning on the light. I'm sitting up, and then everything goes dark. And that's what I picked up. But yeah, he was seduced and somehow into some sort of seduced for a collaboration. That's what I want to say. So let's hear about the case. I'm ready.
Okay. So Charles Morgan was found dead outside of Tucson, Arizona, where I live. He was 39 when he was found. He was found near his vehicle. He was the president of his own escrow company, and was also a potential witness in a state land fraud case involving a known crime boss. So, sometime in March, he dropped his girls off at school back in March of 1977. Okay, this is how long ago it was.
Wow.
March of 77, he drops his girls off at school and is gone for like 3 days. He shows up at the house. Everything that I've looked at said he was missing a shoe. He was handcuffed. He had a zip tie on his ankle. He wasn't able to speak for a few days. So he was transcribing all of this on pen and paper. And
oh my God.
he said that, according to his wife, Ruth said that he had said that some hallucinogenic was painted on his throat. And if he ingested it, he'd go insane and or die. I don't know of any hallucinogenic that personally, that little detail kind of rubs me the wrong way, because hallucinogenics as far as I know, but I'm not a medical doctor. Will not kill you. They'll just make you hallucinate. I mean, I'm sure, I guess in high doses they would. And
Well,
I
when
would,
we think about it, don't forget like morphine, like now the morphine patches. So something put on topically can absolutely be absorbed in the
and
skin.
you can
Maybe it
absorb
was
it in the skin.
yeah, maybe it was
Absolutely.
experimental back then.
I
Who
just don't
knows?
know how, if first of all, how are you going to lick something that's on your throat? Maybe he was telling his wife, don't go kissing me on my throat or anything. I don't want you to get sick, or what have you. And maybe there's
Yeah,
just a little bit of bits and pieces that are missing. But
yeah.
he also had his wife move his car, because he did have his car. He also made his wife move his car so that they didn't know that he was finally home. No one knows who they are.
Yeah.
Um, Now here's the kicker. Charles did claim to be working with the feds.
Mm,
He said when he
interesting.
escaped this time, he said he was out by the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, and that they took his Treasury ID. So the people who kidnapped him supposedly have his work identification. Um, After being kidnapped, he became extremely paranoid, started wearing a bulletproof vest, informed the school, "I am the only person picking up my daughters, no one else."
Wow.
Um, June 7th, 1977, old Chucky Boy goes missing again.
Wow.
Um, and before he went missing, and this is a weird part that I didn't understand. Before he went missing, he told his dad, "Hey, if I go missing or if something happens to me, there's going to be a letter that will explain everything, and it'll name who you need to go after." No
Yeah.
letter was found when he went missing
Mm,
in June. None. However, according to Ruth, the wife, 9 days after he went missing, so this would be around June 16th, uh, Ruth got a call from some woman who said Chuck is all right. Ecclesiastes 12, 1 through 8, verse 1 through 8. And I have that. Okay.
mm-hmm.
So this is long. Sorry to bore everybody. But if you don't know, Ecclesiastes 12 through 1 through 8 is remember your creator in the days of your youth. This is a new international version, so it's more normal, everyday, today
Yeah.
talk. Remember your creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them. Before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark and the clouds return after the rain. When the keepers of the house tremble and the strong men stoop, and when the grinders cease because they are few and those looking through the windows grow dim, when the doors to the streets are closed and the sound of the grinding fades, when people rise up at the sound of birds, but all their songs grow faint, when people are afraid of heights and of dangers in the streets, when the almond trees blossom and the grasshopper drags itself along and desire no longer is stirred, then people go to their eternal home and mourners go about the streets. Remember him before the silver cord is severed and the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring and the wheel broken at the well. And the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. I don't know what you get from that, but for
Interesting.
it was an
Yeah.
interesting, I like, because it says a lot and says nothing at all. It kind of gives a little bit of um a lot of examples, and then literally probably could have been written in two sentences that to me pretty much said, um at some point this is all it's all going to go away. It's all bullshit and it's all going to go away, and this life is pointless. So that was told to Ruth. That was given to Ruth, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1 through 8. 2 days later, 2 days ish. So around, I guess, Pima County Sheriff's Office, which is the county I live in, June 18th, 1977 is when they found old Chucky Boy with a bulletproof vest on. He was missing a tooth. The tooth was found on the back floorboards of his Cougar, his car, and attached to his underwear was a $2 bill with Spanish names written on it. I believe there was like 7 Spanish names, and the Bible verse again. That same Bible verse. And it's weird because what they did was they put Declaration of Independence on there with arrows pointing down to circled serial numbers on the $2 bill. And then they also put Ecclesiastes 12 with the numbers arrows down pointed at the numbers 1 and at the number 8 in the serial number circled. It's really weird. The Declaration of Independence, the numbers that were circled were 1 and 7. So I'm assuming, I haven't gone through and looked at what 1 through 7 means in the Declaration of Independence, but there was also a crude map drawn on the bill of the towns of Robles Junction and Sassabee, which were at that time known for smuggling. So, other odd things found. Well, his body was in a desert area. It was about, let's see, 30 feet.
Do we know about was he still married when this happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Him and his wife never separated, never divorced.
I was wondering if he fooled around.
Well, I'm wondering if what part, when you said that, what part did that woman play? Was she supposed to seduce him?
I believe he was introduced to somebody, or that's what I believe he was seduced. Now,
Well,
he could have been seduced by money, or he could
yeah,
have been
and that
seduced
was
by
what
a
I was
person.
thinking. What, or was
Yeah.
is it seduction of the love of money? Because if he was working for a crime boss or a cartel of any sort, which either one could be down here in Arizona, who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Because Tucson, I mean, the crime syndicate looked at Tucson a while back, like around this time in 77, as New Frontier. So, kind of like when they were coming out here for Vegas, they were like, oh, well, Tucson, not bad. Another good
Back in
town.
the 80s, the big thing was cocaine, right? So we had
Yeah.
the Escobar era.
Cocaine. Yeah.
Cocaine. So, but
Cocaine.
that was it. So I'm wondering, I mean, I don't know that I don't feel like he directly interacted with them. I believe he met somebody who was
Was
affiliated.
somebody, yeah.
There was a third party.
I mean, he was the owner of an escrow business who dealt with land titles
But
and
I
stuff
felt like
like
he
that.
was losing money, or he wanted to hold on to money.
He might have been losing money in his business. I'm not 100% sure, but there was, let's see, no fingerprints. He was shot in the back of the head.
Oh yeah,
He was executed.
Yeah.
Shot once in the back of the head with a bullet, or with a .357 Magnum, which was lying beside him when they found him. His car, inside of it, the police found a note that had directions to the crime scene written in his handwriting. They also found several weapons, ammunition, CB radio. One of his teeth were wrapped in a white handkerchief that was in that's the tooth that was found on the floorboard. And then there was a pair of sunglasses that did not belong to him that were in the car. Let's see, 2 days after old Chucky Boy's death, an anonymous woman spoke to an officer for the Pima County Sheriff's Department, which I'm going to request so that we can follow up on this. I'm going to request all that information. She claimed he was supposed to meet her at a local motel shortly before he died.
What did I tell you? Seduced.
She said her nickname was Green Eyes, and she was the same woman that called Ruth several days earlier and claimed that at the motel, Chuck showed her a briefcase containing several $1,000s in cash and said that that money would buy him out of the hit that was put out on him, out of the contract that was put out on him.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Pima County Sheriff's Office ruled it a suicide.
Yeah, it wasn't a suicide.
How in the
Absolutely
hell
not.
do you shoot yourself in the back of the freaking head? So,
Yeah. And I
my
said
favorite,
seduced.
yeah, you did. And my favorite is Chuck's car was broken into while in the impound lot, and his workplace office was ransacked shortly after he was found.
So I'm picking up, just as you're giving me these little small details.
Yes.
I'm picking up that got a call. Oh, the other thing I wrote down, got a call, blackmail. Blackmail.
Huh.
So that's interesting. But I'm also picking up that people he worked with every day are somehow involved. So
Okay. Here's this.
people he worked with every day.
2 males claiming to be FBI agents told Ruth they needed to look through the house, and they fucked her shit up. And they went through her house. So, was it organized crime or was he an informant? What made Arizona the most attractive state for the crime syndicates was the unique state law that allowed them to buy land through a numbered blind trust account. So that's how they were doing it. And that was what drew the organized crime syndicates down here because of how they were able to buy land. And starting in 73, it appeared that he was doing several $1,000,000 of escrow in the 70s.
Yeah.
Several $1,000,000 of escrow work in bullion and platinum.
What?
In reality, there was no bullion or
Right.
platinum.
Right.
The money was being moved through several escrow accounts he was money laundering. He was
Right.
cleaning it up. Chuck was a secret witness in an extensive land fraud investigation and was interviewed about it May 1977, shortly before his death. Now there was a episode which I got a lot of this stuff off of Reddit because Reddit goes real deep into this stuff.
Okay.
But there was a lot of information that I had not found anywhere else. And then a lot of, half of it I found here, and then half of it I did find other places. So,
Mhm.
but the case was aired on Unsolved Mysteries back in 1990.
I wonder if
And
they got what we got.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, just like anything, they leave it at the end for your interpretation, just like we
Right.
do.
Right.
We give all of our 2 cents, but he, I guess, was receiving a lot of money from his bullion escapades and money laundering. He was getting a lot of money, and they were assuming it was coming from Southeast Asia. There was an investigative reporter, Don Devereaux. He discovered that Chuck kept duplicate records of the transactions. So, and that's why Devereaux believes he was killed. Of course,
Yeah.
Nobody, his family members, nobody like that, they don't believe that he was involved as far as or they don't believe that it was suicide. They couldn't believe that the Pima County Sheriff's Office came up with that. They were
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is a blatant murder.
Yeah.
Here's there are other strange deaths that have occurred after this. 3 months after the broadcast of Unsolved Mysteries, Doug Johnson, I don't know who he is. He worked across the street from Don Devereaux's office and drove almost an identical car. Doug Johnson ended up dead 3 months after the show.
Wow.
Drove an identical car as Devereaux. Devereaux believes he was supposed to be the hit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that's scary. And then Doug Dever, or I'm sorry, Devereaux, Don Devereaux,
Yeah.
he was contacted by a writer from DC named Danny Casolaro. And Devereaux's like, yeah, I'll share this information with you. And all of a sudden, he turned up dead.
Hmm.
Danny died of suspicious causes before he received the information. So there's a lot of people that are dying around this whole thing. And unfortunately, Ruth Morgan, Mr. Morgan's wife, Chuck's wife, she
Yeah.
died in 2006. So I can't even interview her, even if she was
How about the
still out here.
children?
Yeah, I don't know about the girls. I've never seen their names.
Hmm. Yeah.
So Devereaux
Oh,
probably kept that out of the paper, um,
yeah.
just to
Thank God.
protect them. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably best, obviously because of the strangeness of this. But yeah, I mean, that is just out of this world. This is the strangest case I've ever heard. Nobody knows how he died. Nobody knows. And then the police are ruling it suicide, but I don't know what's on his death certificate
Hmm.
because the coroner technically says
Yeah.
this is what it is.
Right.
So, as far as the police ruling it a suicide, that's just for
Yeah.
investigation purposes.
Hmm.
So
Well,
I don't know.
I definitely believe that, like I said, he got into a collaboration. I do believe that the people, whoever he was working with at that time,
Yeah.
were the ones somehow connected. But the impressions that I get, the psychic
Mhm.
impressions, is this was very, very, very quiet.
Oh yeah.
So when we think about today, people involved in those type of situations, organized crime, I mean, even officers were bought out,
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know.
I'm sure there
So
were so many people that were
I
paid
am
off.
sure that, and I do believe that woman did have something to do with him because I said he was seduced, and I definitely believe that she was sent in. So they needed this person to wash their
Yeah.
money clearly, and they sent Green Eyes in to.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old
They
green
said,
eyes.
yeah, well, that's you know that's one way to get somebody's attention. And I definitely believe that there was some sort of situation because I did get lovers and I said relationship, but it was due to bad collaborations. But I believe that he was already collaborating with people.
Yeah.
He just didn't know. I think people were sent in to see how he worked, what he was doing, what he was building. And I do believe he was trying to hold on to some money. So he would have been the perfect opportunity.
Oh yeah.
He would have taken something, maybe knowing it was a little sketchy, but not
Mhm.
really clear with everything, and then being seduced by somebody. Hey, I know somebody that needs your services, and I think that's how they got in. But
What a
I
way
do
to
believe that
go.
everybody. But I believe a lot of people, and it's almost like I'm feeling like this guy went and you're walking in and everybody you see that works here that has this store, they're all
It was
connected.
literally him against the city of Tucson.
Yeah,
Is what it
that's
seems
what I'm
like.
feeling. That's what I'm
It just
definitely
it
picking up.
seems like it was him versus everybody out here, and that poor man, the lengths that he went to. I I mean, and what back then it probably would have been a lot easier to just pick up and move. However, it might not have been because I mean, I was just born in the 70s, November, so I was not even born yet when this occurred. But just for everything that I'm under the impression of back in the 70s, it would have been really easy if he would have just got up and left. But I'm sure they had ways of finding him still,
Mhm. Well,
just
that's
like
what I feel.
today.
I felt like he wanted to get up and just leave, but he couldn't because
I think
he
he
was
tried
being
to keep
watched.
the normalcy for his kids, and yeah, he's
Yeah,
being watched, and he's got both sides watching him.
yeah,
If he is
yeah,
working for the federal government, get as an informant or whatever, he's being watched. They're gonna
yeah.
follow him, but I mean, obviously, they failed at their job if he ended up dead.
So it's confirmed that he was an informant.
That's what everything that I've read has said, was that, yeah, we did talk to him. The
Ah,
FBI said that they did talk to him. That is all they're confirming.
that's why
I
he
don't
was
even
murdered.
know. Yeah, I don't even know who the crime family is.
Well, I'm picking up when you were talking about the numbers and the Bible verses, that's a
Mhm.
code. And for some reason, I'm also picking up, and I don't know, my only thought that came to me, and I try not to use my left brain because to do psychic work, we typically work more with our right brain.
Right, right.
um, but I'm picking up like Zodiac killer. So somebody wanted to, do some sort of, uh, you know, um, so the Zodiac killer wrote in code.
Yeah, yes.
And so the other impression I was getting was maybe, so the person that left that dollar and pointing, those numbers might have something, it was a code to their organization. And
Well, it
it was
was
a code.
1178. So if anybody knows anything about it, there it
Well,
is.
1977, right? But it could have been a code to either their organization and or maybe how you were saying that they had, I don't know about trusts, I have known nothing about
Yeah,
that,
I don't know
but
anything about that either.
could it be a transaction number, could it be some sort of amount,
You have a couple of different numbers in there, because you got Ecclesiastes 12, 1
right?
through 8. So that's 1218. And then you have one that's pointing on the serial number, it's 1178. So you've got a couple of different number combinations there, if we're gonna go that route, where it could be even something as simple
Yeah.
as a lock combination. Maybe it was a combination to a safe, a combination to one of um, uh, those briefcases that have the lock combinations. Maybe I don't know.
If we
It's
get
just
the case file, but a lot of times you
Mhm.
can take those numbers and put them up against the alphabet. One would have been an A.
Yeah, yeah, that's
what
true.
did it what did it spell out, I wonder?
But why would they be that stupid to be that simple?
It could be and it could not be, we don't know.
Exactly, we don't know, because
We don't know.
that's the huge problem with all of this. We just don't know. So I will be requesting the case file for this, because I like talking about it before we get any of the case file, because I want to see what everybody else is talking about, what we get from it,
Yes.
and then getting the actual evidence, like, hey, here's what we got. And yeah, I'm still waiting for the other stuff from Columbus for Brian Schaefer. So,
Yes. And if
but yeah,
anybody, any other psychic or anybody has any information, please go to our Facebook page and or
yes,
YouTube channel and put down your insights. It's not about us getting attention. It's about the
nope,
cases, getting some
absolutely.
information on those cases. Speaking of Brian Shepard, is that
Schaefer,
his Schaefer? So I have a friend in India
yeah,
who saw the podcast and said, Gina, I'm getting this impression. And I said, do tell.
tell me.
And he says, I'm getting this impression this was about money. There was some money owed, and he was wrapped in he said he was wrapped in a curtain. So very interesting. So he was wrapped in a curtain,
Huh?
and then he said he was taken to the sea, like he was taken to a body
Okay.
of water. And I said, oh, that's good. I'm going to make sure to bring that up. But I'm inviting any other psychic, anybody that gets
Yes,
any
please.
information, please put down details, any details that you could be picking up underneath the actual the clip, so that any law enforcement or any family member can see that they can take these clues, take it to whoever's investigating the case,
Yeah.
and we just
And if you
hope
do,
that
I
we get
mean,
found.
I don't know if Pima County still has this as an unsolved. I think they pretty much closed the case out with their rendition of him committing suicide. I have such a hard time just even saying it, because I don't believe that that's
Yeah,
even part of it.
no,
But
I don't either.
anyways, if you do have any information on Charles Morgan,
Yes.
give Pima County Sheriff's Office a call and let them know, because that they want anybody that can help the case. So,
Yes,
um,
absolutely.
but again, and Columbus PD for Brian Schaefer. So don't forget about our other podcast episodes. Please like, subscribe, share, and we are on
Follow.
everything. Yes, follow, follow, follow. We are on. You can find us on
YouTube.
Reddit. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find
Mm-hmm.
us almost anywhere. We're
Yes.
trying to get out there. So look us up.
Yes.
We are Unearthed Evidence, and we're always under that name. So we look
And if you
forward.
have any cases,
Yes, please
cases,
send them to us via email. And our email
mm-hmm.
is on our Facebook page, but it is Unearthed
Evidence.
Jennifer N. Gina at gmail.com. So we'll
Yes.
make sure that and it's also on our YouTube page. It's everywhere, really. So
Yeah.
give us your information and a phone number so we can get a hold of you, and then we can get the case rolling. So
Yes.
for us at Unearthed Evidence, we thank you so much for joining, and we cannot wait to see you next week.
That's right. To unearth more evidence. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.